Misi dari Google adalah untuk mengorganisasi informasi-informasi di seluruh dunia dan membuat informasi itu agar dapat diakses secara universal dan dapat berguna untuk semua orang. Nah, artinya dari sisi Indonesia adalah bagaimana kita dapat membantu masyarakat Indonesia seperti siswa dan juga pelajar-pelajar untuk mengakses teknologi seperti machine learning dan juga memberikan mereka soft skill. Tapi kami juga tahu dari sisi Google bahwa hal ini tidak bisa kami lakukan sendiri. Maka itu kami bekerja sama dengan Tokopedia, Traveloka, dan Gojek untuk bersama-sama meluncurkan program seperti Bangkit. Banyak sekali produk dari Google yang menggunakan teknologi AI dan machine learning untuk membantu para pengguna pada saat mereka menggunakan produk kami pada saat aktivitasnya. Contohnya, kalau Anda menggunakan Gmail, ada autocomplete. Kita juga menggunakan machine learning untuk membantu mengelompokkan foto-foto di Google Foto, dan masih banyak contoh lainnya. Fokus dari Google adalah untuk bagaimana kita mengembangkan potensi AI untuk hal-hal yang baik, AI for good. Kalau saya bisa berikan satu contoh, contohnya di bidang kesehatan. Di bidang kesehatan, AI dapat digunakan untuk membantu dokter-dokter meninggikan akurasi pada saat mereka mendeteksikan untuk men-spot breast cancer. Dan banyak juga contoh-contoh lain di bidang contohnya climate change, di mana AI dapat digunakan untuk hal-hal yang baik. Yang pertama adalah terus belajar. Masih banyak materi di luar yang Anda masih terus bisa pelajari. Yang kedua, bagaimana Anda bisa belajar sambil melakukan. Implementasikan semua teknologi-teknologi dan learning yang Anda pelajari di Bangkit di kehidupan Anda di masa depan. Yang terakhir, jangan takut membuat kesalahan. Nobody is perfect, dan dari kesalahan kita semua bisa menjadi lebih baik. Big congratulations! Saya sangat bangga sekali kepada Anda semua yang sudah menyelesaikan perjalanan ini meskipun harus menghadapi tantangan-tantangan pandemi yang cukup berat. Senang sekali kami dari sisi Google melihat lulusan Bangkit bisa sukses. Tidak hanya untuk karir Anda sendiri, tapi juga untuk membantu Indonesia dan dunia. Make us proud!
Okay, hello everyone. Hi, and welcome to this guest speaker session of Bangkit 2022. Good evening, everyone. And so in this session, we will talk about how to create a great startup. So I want to introduce myself first. My name is Hansel. I'm Hansel Santo, and I am also a Bangkit alumni from the class of 2020 and 2021. So yeah, I've probably been here also in last year and in last 2 years. And I will be your moderator for today's session. And in this session, it's a very special session because we are going to have a discussion session with Kak Imanuel. Kak Imanuel will be our main speaker for today. And we will discuss and we will be talk about how to create a great startup. This is also an interactive session. So for you guys who want to learn more about how to create a great startup, or you want to know about how to implement that startup into everyone's life, then feel free to give a chat at the comment, and we will be answering your questions later in the Q&A section. So okay. Before we jump in to the speaker session, which is our main session, I would like to also mentioning that I also creating a startup, which is Futo, and you or maybe probably have heard about Futo before, or maybe you don't. It's okay, but Futo is actually one of the top 15 capstone project from the Bangkit 2021. So maybe you probably heard about Naratik or Bachara before. Then now you learn about Futo. Yeah. As part of Bangkit 2021, Futo is created by me and my team. There are 6 of us. 2 is learning machine learning, 2 learning Android, and the other 2 is learning cloud computing. So there are 6 of us that creating Futo. Next slide, please. Okay, so in this session, I would like to tell you a little bit about Futo, which is our startup that we have already started from last year. So, Futo is a multi-platform mobile application that embed with machine learning. It is supposed to give a reliable and fast information for the best experience in enjoying food without any worries. So the idea is not everyone have access to the medical services or maybe to the hospital that maybe we can have that access easily. So with Futo, we are trying to give that experience for everyone. So people maybe that live in the rural areas can also take a picture of that food. And by the food that I mean is the ready to serve food. So the food that served in your plate. I mean, yeah, it's not the ingredient, but it's the food on the plate. So if you see that that food can give that information, then we can actually reach people who live in the rural areas, and that is the aim of Futo. Okay, next. So the main point of Futo is fast and reliable because we are giving the services through our smartphone because that can be reached by everyone. Have to be fast and it has to be reliable because it is about the healthcare, and the fast is because you can get it from anywhere, because if you have an internet and you have a smartphone, then you can have the service. Okay, next. So when we create this Futo, we also think about the opportunities. I think one of the biggest opportunities in Indonesia is because we are still there's a lot of competitors in Indonesia, especially in the healthcare community, especially in healthcare tech. Yeah. Also, there's some fear of consultation maybe to the medical services, and it's also giving user-friendly features. Maybe I want to add one more, that people in the rural areas is also pretty hard to take the medical services. So that's why we created Futo. Okay, next. And our market target is for people who have food-related diseases and people who want to go on diet. And our secondary target is for researchers, because actually we're creating our data set because the food disease is so big, and the amount of food is very I think it's very big also, right? So because of that, with our data set, we hopefully that will be able to give the people our service, which is we can tell whether the food is edible or not for them, especially for everyone who has like allergy or maybe has a food related disease that is very maybe life threatening for them. So that's all is part of Futo that we want to solve the problem. Okay, next. So yeah, this is what we are trying to build. We are trying to build a machine learning application that it can take a picture of your on the plate food, and will try to examine the food whether it's edible or not for you. It is very personalized for you and for everyone uh, because everyone will be asked whether you have a disease of maybe you have a cholesterol disease or maybe you have allergies, etc. And all of that will be recorded to our database, and we try to give the best advice for them. Okay, next. And yeah, you can see on the left side, that's our that we try to give the prediction about the diseases. And in the right side, you can see we are trying to educate people too. We are trying to give the food dictionary open to everyone, so everyone can access for example, like nasi kapau, their ingredient, their diseases that will happen, etc. Okay, next. Okay, so in this part, I actually want to share a little bit for your session, because I think there's a lot of like maybe interest. I think there's a lot of interest for you guys. Like, how do I create a startup? Like, how do I found a startup? Well, if you one of them, if you do, then this session is for you. Okay, next. So what have we done in the past? Like I think if you probably heard from Bangkit, if you selected to become the top 15, then you will get funded. But other than funding, you also get a mentorship and an incubator, which what I get at the time is I get the incubator from Universitas Indonesia from UI, and the mentorship from Tokopedia, and one is from Google. So yeah, it's very great. So in terms of what have we done in the incubation, like it's probably like 6 month incubation. We already like developed our application, which is the backend and front end. We're already like collect our data set, because I think the data set is very broad, right? You want to talk about food, you want to talk about disease. It's very broad. It's very I think it's very huge for the data set to do. So we want to try to get to there, that specific part that we can detect like most of the food. But we 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 know that we have to start from the beginning, which is we want to collect as many as food possible, like that. And then we have tried to train our machine learning. I believe training our machine learning is our main goal, is because in our startup, machine learning is our main business, right? And then we have also done the closed alpha testing to the selected target users. This is very important. I want to share to you, because I think uh, one of the mistake that maybe mistake in creating a startup is you think that the idea of of your what you're making is right, but instead it isn't, because uh, you're not listening to the target market or the users that actually use for them. And I think in the last, and I think the point that I want to emphasize is teamwork. Why teamwork is important in this thing? Because I think like most of you guys is still in undergraduate school, right? I think it's also applied to me too. I am also an undergraduate student, and when we talking about teamwork in undergraduate and a teamwork in creating a startup, it's very different, because when you want to create, maybe you have a school project at school and you want to finish that school project, then you probably like, okay, I have to finish that project. Then we are working together in the small scope, like maybe it's about mobile programming. Then all of us is creating the components for that mobile programming, right? But instead of that, if we take a look at the startup, it's very broad, because like for example, I'm a tech guy actually, but in I also learned computer science in school. But I think in startup, you uh, that terms is not applied to you, because you also have to learn about the business side. You have to learn about maybe the marketing sides a little bit, etc. So teamwork is not a part of you create the product and get it done, but everyone should have a role that they have to do by their own self, and they want to give the bigger part for the company. That I think teamwork is very important. Okay, next. And this is the obstacle part. I think the obstacle part is mostly about our ML model, because training is need a lot of time, and testing is also that's a bit cumbersome, I think, because we're not having that lot of users yet. But uh, that part is actually creating our testing is making it more hard than what we do right now. So training is hard, because I think when you do like thousands of food, like not billion, I think there's a lot of food that we need to train, and that's need a lot of time. And the third one is we want to develop a personalized diagnosis, which will depends the ML model, because I think at the time, like what I said earlier, that we want to create a diagnosis that is specified for each people, so each people can know what they can food is they're edible or not. And that is actually very hard because the numbers of food is very broad, the numbers of disease is very broad, and I think the number of person is also very broad too. So I think the first three things that on the top is training, testing, and develop a personalized diagnosis. That all is still possible, and it is actually uh, part of what we are trying to do in the past a couple of months and in the future. So maybe it's just a need a time for that. But for the fourth obstacle, I think this one is very important to for I to share to you, because I think everyone here is an undergrad student too, right? So when my team actually funding get funded in this banquet session, and we are also getting the incubation, one of the key main things that happen is not everyone is having that amount same amount of time to give to Futo, because maybe they have like a school project, maybe they have a thesis to be done, and etc. I think uh, it is very important to a startup, especially a new startup, to maintain that motivation and try to give the best effort, because if you want to do something that is very great and it is very good, then I think it is possible if you do it with right amount of effort. Okay, next. So yeah, thank you for all for listening to. I think this is a short intro section for you guys to know a little bit more about this, about what have I done and about startup. So next we will join by Kai Emmanuel, which is the our main speaker for today. So Kai Emmanuel, the floor is yours. Hi Kak. I think while we are waiting for Kai Emmanuel, feel free for everyone, yeah, to maybe if you want to ask any questions or you want to maybe give a comment or anything else, you just type it on the chat. Okay. And I see. So I think this is a very interactive session. If you guys want to, oh, there's a question. How do you process the food data set? Do you research the food, each of the food, so you know about food nutrition? Okay, this is a very good question. So the food data set that we try to collect is the especially for the photo first, right? Because we are a startup that using computer vision that we are trying to create the expert system, right? So we want to process the food data set, we get the photo, and then we are getting what we call as a like food dictionary at that time. So we know each food, the nutrition that maybe it's contained like a fat, it's contained like water, etc. And we are combining it with the disease. Okay, so I think Kai Manuel is already joined. Hi, Kai Manuel. Hi.
Hi, can you hear
Uh,
me now?
yeah, it's very clear,
Okay,
crystalline clear. Okay, Kai Manuel,
cool,
the
cool.
floor is yours.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Imanuel Abraham. So today we are gonna talk about how to build one startups. How to build one. It's a very simple methods that um, I usually use to think about new ideas, how to develop, how to lay the foundation, how to take care of things. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay, today's session agenda is how to find ideas for your next startup, for your next big startup, for your, I don't know, for your next product. So the second one is things that can be obstacles. Okay, and the third one is compete. So how do you compete in this fast and so many startups out there, right? And then the fourth one and the fifth one is my personal experience running a startup and working at a startup, and also my 2 cents for you guys about how to keep on doing and work, and also keep the grit for you guys to build a startup. Okay, the first one. Okay, first thing first. If you guys still don't know me, yeah, my name is Imanuel Abraham. I'm a startup enthusiast. Mainly, I focus on the growth hacking part. Been around in the marketing and sales field for 15 years. I was a former regional sales manager for 88 TV, Jobs TV holding company, and also I am a former founding team of blackgarlic.id. So a little bit about blackgarlic.id. Black Garlic is a meal package delivery service. So you can just put you can just subscribe, and also and every week you will get different kind of foods delivered right to your doorstep. And then next, I was a co-founder at octagon.co.id. Maybe some of you know Octagon. It's a photography store. We built lifestyle e-commerce called octagon.co.id. And then right now, I am the co-founder of Penakota.id. Penakota.id is a uh, literation platform for you guys to make your art form in literation. And then right now I'm working at mtarget.co, is a customer engagement platform as marketing manager. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Okay, next. Okay, what do you need? First thing first, what do you need when you want to build a startup? The, the first thing first is you start with an idea and a dream. Okay, an idea and a dream. But there are two mistakes that commonly I found in fellow founders. The first thing is um, you think that you need a great and amazing idea to get started. But what you need is actually a good enough idea, a good enough, combined with great execution. Okay, that's the first mistake. You think you need an amazing idea, an idea that, oh, I want to change the shape of the world, the shape of the culture. It's not that. Okay, uh, all you have to do is you think a good enough idea, but you have to combine it with a great execution. Okay, the second mistake that I found and I also experienced is you are jumping into the first idea that comes into mind. Okay, so let's say, oh, I want to make a smart bottle, right? Then suddenly, the next 3 days, you already built the prototype. Okay, then without doing any research, without doing any analytical thinking, how to sell, how to value your startup, how to manage the production, how to manage the distribution, you already built the prototype. So that is also the common mistake. Okay, so when you have an idea, you have to stop and think critically about whether it's a good idea or not. Okay, what is a good idea? Okay, what is a good idea? So this is this is my method about how to evaluate your idea on 4 criteria. The first one is how big is this idea? How big? The, what I'm talking is, have you ever calculate the TAM, total addressable market, about the surface obtainable market, okay, and surface available market, the TAM, sum, and sum, okay. So you have to do research for that, okay. How big is this idea? How big is your market, okay? Before you are jumping into, okay, I wanna create a pitch deck. I wanna hire a team. I wanna find co-founder. You have to think about this first. How big is this idea? Okay, and founder market fit. So founder market fit is like, uh, are the founders are experts in what they are doing. So let's say if you want to build a startup focusing on food delivery or food market, right? Do you have a co-founder that expert in food, or you just a group of guys that likes to eat, and suddenly, oh, let's create a startup focusing on food market as well. Well, that's not gonna work. You have to you have to find experts on what they're doing and build your startup around that. Okay. And the second criteria is, how sure are you that you are solving a big problem? Going back to the first criteria, have you ever done any analytical, any critical, any market research? Have you ever talked to your potential customers? Have you ever talked to, I don't know, your family, your friends? Hey, hey, bro, hey, mom, hey, pop, I want to build something like this. Is it is it going to solve your problem or no? If your closest friends or if your family doesn't even need the products, I think it's better to evaluate more about the idea. Okay. The third one is this something you personally want to have? You cannot build a startup, build a product, build a business that you actually don't need it, right? So, okay, if I want to build a startup, smart glasses, I will do it because I need the glasses, right? But I don't wear any watches. But should I build a smartwatch, or should I build a startup that focusing on a watch industry? I think no. So you have to build something that you personally want to have, because what? Because when you build a product or a business that you personally want to have, then you're gonna embody the idea. You're gonna embody the marketing plan. You're gonna embody the financial management. You're gonna embody the technology. You're gonna embody the operational thing. See? So yeah, that's the third criteria. Okay, the fourth criteria is this something that this only recently became possible? So you see, the world is changing, right? The world is changing. Is, is there anything or something that only recently became available, became possible? So let's say you want to build music NFT. Going back 10, 15 years ago, there's no NFT at all. But now, if you're going to build music NFT, this only recently become possible, right? So if your idea is something like that that caters or that match this 4 criteria, I think go for it. That's enough to get started. But don't forget, startups is all about pivoting. It's all about adapt in the market. You cannot be uh, you cannot build a product that fits all. You cannot. You have to pivot. You have to evolve your business. Okay. I think that's enough on the idea part. Okay, let's talk about obstacles, right? Things that can be obstacles. Simple answer, everything. Everything can be obstacle. Okay, but there are 5 challenges that you should look out for. The first thing first is fierce competition. Is your startup going to compete with some gigantic company? So if it is, that you have to prepare for that. You have to create a system where there is no margin of error. So you have to more aggressive in terms of marketing, in terms of pricing, in terms of operational, in terms of financial management. If you are going to compete with gigantic companies, okay. Then the second one is, this is that I find most of startups are failing: unrealistic expectations. Okay, success does not come alone; it brings expectations with it. But in the real sense of the word, are merely unrealistic. Startups tend to face challenges when they set unrealistic expectations. Okay, remember, success is short-lived and expectations never end, right? So you have to set expectations that you know you can achieve, that you know that this is going to make my startup sustain, to make my startup win the competition, okay? To make my startup, I don't know, whatever you are going for, right? Okay. So first thing first is set realistic expectations. If you are just starting out, if you are just start building prototype, start designing UI, start designing UX. So yeah, I think you have to focus on that first, despite of, oh, I want to build this startup to be next unicorn in 3 years, in 5 years. That's not realistic. Okay. Okay. The third thing that can be obstacles is hiring suitable team member. Okay. My personal point of view, my personal uh, goal for strategy is hiring the right team member. Okay. Keep in mind, hiring the right team member. Okay. Because in startup, you cannot be one man show company. Okay. There are people that is good with your with financial than you. There are people that experts in operational, right? You have to hire the suitable team member. If not, this is going to be an internal conflict, internal issue, internal problem. If you cannot work with your own team, how can you win the market, right? So hiring is key. At first, like 6 months, 12 months, 18 months of your startups, hiring is the key. Okay. The next thing is financial management. I have to tell you guys about uh, financial management. Okay, financial management for startups is hard. Okay, you have to manage the funding that you got. Okay, you have to do budgeting, you have to calculate costs, you have to calculate liabilities, you have to predict your cash flow, you have to report your cash flow, you have to do all those financial things, and it's hard. And if you cannot manage the financial thing the right way, I think this is going to break your startup. Okay, let's see if you just get funding, right, 100,000, 500,000, let's see, and you don't you don't manage, you're not doing financial management the correct way. Once you get the funding, all you are going to do is what? Throwing the money. Okay, create unrealistic marketing activity with very low ROI. So yeah, financial management is hard, and it could be one of the obstacles. Okay, the last but not least, is winning trust of customers. Okay, this is the key of creating a sustainable business, creating um, your startup, basically generating revenue for your startup. Okay, winning trust of your customers. This is hard. There are things that that you have to do, such as certification for your, I mean, for your startup, like ISO or like halal certification if you're going to the food market, right? Food industry, and then make sure the customer service is answering the right thing, answering on the right time. So yeah, winning trust of customers is could be obstacles, right? In building startup. Okay, the next thing is how to stay ahead of your competitors. Okay, uh, I'm going to say something that is on my presentation here. It's tempting to daydream about what it would be like if you had no competition at all. It's so tempting, okay? But no competition at all, meaning something is not right, okay? If you don't have any competitors, I don't know, maybe you are building the wrong startup. Maybe there is no market for your startup. So yeah, uh, competition, you have to love competition, okay? You have to love competition, but you have to play it right, okay? Okay, how to stay ahead then? Okay, it's not okay. Wait up. Ah, find a niche in the market using storytelling and specialization. This is a very important point. Find a niche in the market using storytelling and specialization. You have to be, you have to specialize in one thing, and you have to find a niche around the market that you can serve immediately, that you can generate revenue immediately. Okay. The next thing is competitive pricing. Okay. You have to fight. You have to compete with your pricing. If you're if you're just starting out and then you kind of set your price high, then you have to know that your market is able to afford that. If no, so lower your price, compete with the middle, right? So okay, the next thing is change your business to stay ahead of your competition. It's called pivot. So you have to do pivoting, but you don't have to completely change your business like you're going to other industry. No, but pivoting. So let's say um, one of the unicorn startup in Indonesia that they are just starting out from transportation, and then they evolve into they evolve into uh, payment, and then they evolve into lots of other things, right? Change your business to stay ahead of your competition. Okay. Okay. So yeah, and it's time to build your barriers. Create your entry barriers. Create uh, the barrier that can hold out your business from newcomers, new new startups. Okay. Okay. I think this is the last point from me, the last presentation, last slide. My 2 cents for you guys is keep on doing and fight for what you love and believe. Make mistakes, learn and improve to be better. The results are inevitable. Okay, so I hope you guys can get a sense on how to build startup. From me, uh, my point is ideas and execution, and also look out for the things that can be obstacles and how to win the market. Ah, that's it. Going back to Hansel.
Okay. Thank you, Guy Manuel. So I think this is the time for us actually to have some discussion for with everyone else here. I actually really looking forward for this session because I think the Q&A session is very exciting.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
read some of the questions.
yeah, well, at here we also can read some questions. Okay, let's go to the first question then. Okay, the first question is how to build a team. I mean, I think it should be teammate from someone that before is a stranger. Maybe you want to answer it?
Uh, let's hear from you first. I mean, you are building startup, right? And
Ah,
you
yeah,
you obviously have co-founders, right?
yeah.
So tell me first. Tell me first.
Okay, so I think at the time when we creating the startup, there was six of us. Actually, that that I know is only there is only five actually. So there's one actually that we never met before. Like we never talked to before. That we never like maybe have a chat before, and that guy is our cloud computing that currently like serving our backend that in the Google Cloud right now. So I think how to be a good teamwork. I think you just I think the only thing that you can create teamwork is know everyone's ability, know everyone what capable of, what they really want to do, but really they want to I think everyone in the startup should have the same like same no not the knowledge. I think it's like same passion, like a same spirit into creating the startup. And after you set the goal, if you set that bar in your mind, in everyone's mind, I think you will. I think we can start to like finding each other like what do you want to do like we need this and do you want to become a part of that like and then we try to like sharing like talking to each other hey what will be going right what's going wrong and then what else what next and etc. I think that's the key to create a good teamwork. See, that's it for me.
Yep. That is completely right. Okay, to be a good teamwork from someone that is completely stranger is kind of hard. But uh, if you are to build, if you want to build a good startup, I think you have to know your friends or your co-founders expertise. So expertise, what kind of working culture that they usually do. They yeah, anything what they're doing for fun. Yeah, so getting to know each other is key to be a good teamwork, right? Yeah, I think that's a very good explanation.
Okay, sure. I think let's go on to the next question, shall we? Okay, so this is the question from Rahman Nurhidayat. Okay, asking about how to maintain the spirit of each member. Sometimes in the middle of the project, the spirits of the members decreases. Okay, do you want to answer it first?
Yeah. Okay. For an early stage startup, uh, there will be some ups and downs. Also, there will be some times that you guys are so on fire. So, oh, we could create this, we could create this, and things, right? But there will be times that everyone just kind of exhausted, right? Everyone just kind of slacking off. Everyone just uh, focusing on other things. I don't know, but uh, for me, to maintain the spirit of each team member is actually to regroup and talk about your vision and talk about uh, the next big thing. I don't know, vision sharing, and also uh, just just ju- just do it like, I don't know, every bi-weekly, every monthly. You regroup, talk, play some games maybe to keep the spirit of your each team member. So yeah, I think that's a very good method to keep the spirit.
Yeah, that's very cool. I think in addition to that, I think that's also happened to when I actually created Sputo too, because I think everyone is still in in the university, right? So that some has like a thesis, like some has that maybe have a lot of work because of we are from different universities. I think, and how to maintain the spirit, yeah, I think it is right that we have to like talk to each other, and like for example in Puto we have like a bi-weekly meeting, and we try to discuss about our future goals, about our plan, about our what we want to do, and why we are still doing this. I think that's it. Okay, cool. So let's go on to another question. Okay, the question is from Iksan Nusali. How to make startup sustainable, like economic independent, and doesn't need any kind of funding anymore?
Okay. This is kind of a tricky question, all right? How to make startup sustainable, like economic independent, right? Okay. The key, I think, is financial management. Okay, you have to be able to manage your you have to manage your revenue, and then your costs, and then your uh, COGS, cost of goods sold, or marketing budget. So when you are creating the formula to increase your revenue and decrease your costs, I think at some point you are going to be independent financially. Financially, so when you already reach that point where everything is, yeah, according to plan, according to your strategy to make your uh, unit economics healthy, and I think that you can run your startup independently without any funding. So you fund, basically you fund yourself, right?
Okay. Uh, Maybe for this question, actually, from myself, I have not able to reach that point yet. But I think it is. I think it is very true that what Imanuel had already said. Okay, I think. Um, yeah, let's go to another question, shall we? Okay, so from Muhammad Hafiz, how do we make it easy to find ideas? Yeah, it's a very interesting question. Oh, okay, maybe I will try to actually answer it first. Okay, so it's actually yeah, the idea of Futo actually maybe I want to like a little bit sharing. So actually, when we regroup for the first time, when we want to create you know what, we want to create something for the capstone project of Bangkit. At that time, actually, the Futo is not our first idea. Futo is actually like maybe I don't know, like maybe the fifth or the sixth idea. Before there's a lot of idea that we want to create before Futo, and Futo itself is actually a last minute idea at the time. There is a need to we need to submit the idea at like 12 a.m. in the midnight, and we actually find the idea of Futo like in the I think in the 11 p.m. So it's actually like, oh, we want to create Futo, and then we just jump for it at the time. But actually, the question of how do we make it easy to find ideas, it's actually, um, for me and for I think it's applicable for everyone, is if you if you get a broad knowledge, if you know things, if you like, maybe you're reading a book, you're reading an article in online, or you're reading newspapers. I think most of us actually rarely read newspapers right now. But if you read all of that, and you try to cope up yourself to be able to like to know the conditions of others, to know what conditions that happening in the world, then what are others' problems, or maybe the others' opportunity that you can try to give to others. That's what make it very easy to find ideas. So in summary, I think finding ideas is part of your knowledge, plus maybe some, yeah, I don't I want to say it is as a luck, but I think it's not part of the luck too. But uh, it's your knowledge at the most is. I think it is.
Yeah, I want to add something to that. I already said in my presentation, right? Do not ever jump into your first idea, right? So that's what happened yeah, uh, at Futo, right? When you're jumping into the first idea, I think it's going to be bad. So the first idea or the first design or the first product or the first team or the any first that comes into your mind, it's either going to build or break your startup. So yeah, you have to stop and think critically. But for me, how do we make it easy to find ideas? Just look around. Just look around. Just look around. See what others people needs. See what do you need. What do you personally want to have? Yeah. So just look around and evolve from that idea into the product into great execution. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. I think that's also applicable to with Futo. Okay, let's continue. Okay, there's a question from JJ. How to keep startups stable? As far as I know, last year there were a lot of startups, but now most of them are not heard anymore.
I think I have to answer this question because one of my startup is actually uh, cannot be heard anymore. So yeah, how do we keep startup stable? Hmm, I think yeah, financial management, your vision. So there are four things that actually matters if you want to keep your startup stable. So the first thing is vision, okay, product, performance, and also your business. So these are the four things that you have to take care of the most to create and to make your startup stable. So vision, product, performance, and business. Yeah.
Okay, so vision, product, performance, and business. That's it for you, JJ. Thank you for your questions. Okay, I think we jump to another question. Okay, from Hafiz again, Muhammad Hafiz. What are the difficulties in building a startup? I think the difficulties mean like the obstacles, right? I think
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of obstacle from your presentation. I see if you want to create the obstacles, it's everything is obstacles. But
yeah,
I think uh, in the early stage, the most difficult things that when you're creating a startup is uh, after you finding the idea. Yeah, of course. I think you want. I think from my experience is to validate those ideas is actually I think the first stepping stone if you want to create the startup that is actually maybe market reachable and maybe I think like market tested. I think the terms is actually you will have to validate those idea and you validate your product to the market. I think for my personal experience, I think the difficulties is at the stage of validation. How about you?
yep, yep. That is correct. I mean, the difficulties could be and yeah, everything. But what you should look out for is actually uh, the product market fit, and also how do you deliver the product to your customer, the budgeting, the cost, the pricing. So if you already take care of those, I think the difficulties is not very big anymore, unless you hit certain milestone where you get a bigger and bigger and bigger. So the difficulties is going to be bigger, right? The difficulties is not going to be UI UX. So the difficulties is going to be uh, how do we ensure the time of delivery. I think so. Yeah, the difficulties is always and will be there for you. So you just have to be ready for that. So the difficulties, yeah, five things: competition, unrealistic expectations, hiring, financial management, and also gaining trust from your customer. So yeah.
Okay, it's very cool to hear it from you. Okay, thank you, Muhammad Hafiz, for your question. Okay, let's go on to another question from Miftahul Ardli. Okay. How to manage uncertainty conditions, as we know that there are many obstacles or uncertainty when developing startups.
Well, I think I'm going to answer this. How to manage uncertainty conditions. It's basically you have to identify first what are the uncertainty, what are the I don't know, disaster, work disaster, or I mean geographic disaster, or I don't know, monetary crisis, economic crisis, all of those things you have to identify first at when you're running a startup. So when you already identify those uncertainty, like running out of money, it's an uncertainty, but you can identify it. But then you create a plan to manage those disaster, those conditions. So if suddenly the world is going to have like economic crisis, so what should you do? I mean, you have to evolve your product, or do you have to lower your pricing, or do you have to find another vendor? I don't know. Just identify and slowly create a plan to manage those conditions.
Okay, very cool. Okay, thank you for your question. I think let's go on for the next question. I think there's a lot of questions right now. It's keep coming. So yeah, bear with me. So yeah, so this is from Ceritau Shorts. How to match the idea with the potential in our environment.
How to match the idea with the potential in our environment? Okay, um, I I cannot answer for like one one formula that fits all. But when you are creating a startup, when you are trying to find an idea, I think there are three major ways that you can go for. Okay, the first one is you are building a novel. You are building something out of the box, something that no one ever heard about it. So, but the obstacles and also the challenges is going to be yeah, unidentified also. Okay, then the second one is you are building or you are developing a mutant from something that is uh, on a daily basis we know, like food delivery. Who knows that uh, at this age, at this year, that you can have your food directly delivered into your doorstep, right? But but there is a mutant on everyday or current situation. And then the third one is you are actually building something in a crowded market. Yeah, like you are building a t-shirt startup company, right? Uh, there are a lot of a t-shirt company, right? But you have to find one unique insight. One is enough. One unique insight and approach to your market. One unique insight. I don't know. Is your shirt color changing? Is your shirt double sided? I don't know. But one unique insight and approach. So there are the three keys that you can match your idea with the potential in your environment.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Okay, let's continue to the next questions. Okay, this question is from Aurik. Hello, Kai Manuel. Hi. I want to ask, yeah, I want to ask to, I want to ask the question about startups. How to tip success startups for career business? Example, development or employee. Thank you.
Uh, for career business, example, development or employee. How to startups for career business? Oh, do you mean like job hunting platform or business development part? Or
I've,
yeah,
I do think so.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
You think okay. Hmm. How to success? Well, uh, it is one of the example of the third thing that I said before about building a startup or something that is already crowded in the market, right? The job hunting portal is, I know there are thousands of them, I think. So yeah, I think for you to success, I think is candidate filtering. Yeah, so I think that's a very unique product that you can develop. How do you filter the candidates? Is it going to manually, or is it going to use AI, or is it going to, I don't know, something sophisticated? Yeah, so that is the first, because the reason why companies use job portal platform is because they want to find uh, the right candidate with the right skill set, and also uh, yeah, the quality. So yeah, I think that's the first tips from me.
Mm, okay, it's very exciting. Okay, thank you for your answer, Having. Let's go on for the next questions. It's from Gilang. How to be a great team player? Okay.
Go on, answer that hands off.
Okay, sure. I think this is actually a great question. Uh, I do think that from my experience, like when I building Futo, maybe before that, maybe when I actually learning at school, etc. I think a great team player that really cope up with everyone else is, I think, the person you have to be like, I think the term is proactive. I think I believe that a proactive person is like hey, maybe the, our startup, for example, we talk about a startup. Okay, so if a startup like the the leader that the maybe the CEO that or anything else that maybe at the management levels that have to like micromanage everyone. Hey, you have to do this every day for today. Hey, you have to do that every day. Then it's actually not a great team player because everyone will just wait and everyone will just I mean just waiting for the command to be given and they will try to yeah just do it. But I think to be a great team player is everyone should have that same of knowledge that they need to proactive, they need to give the best shot for the company, and that will be happen if you set the same goal in everyone. I think that's for me. How about you?
Yep. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, to to be a good or great team player, that you have to be proactive. You have to help everyone in the company, right? You have to do your best shot, right? That is the correct terms, I think. Your best shot in achieving something, in doing something, whether it is uh, designing a presentation, designing a pitch deck, until doing the operational thing, right? You have to give your best. So yeah, I think that is going to make you a great team player, and also understanding uh, each of the team member, their their motivation, their way of doing work. You cannot judge people that work on, let's say, nighttime, right? There are people that are a night person, right? You cannot force them to work at daytime, because they just doesn't want to work at daytime, or they cannot work at the daytime. So you have to understand, oh, my friend is a night person. So I think, yeah, I'm going to talk to him about work related at night, I think. So yeah, that's it. Understand your teammate and give your best.
Yeah, sure. That's a very good question. Thank you for your question. Okay, let's continue to another question. It's from Sofita. Excuse me, I want to ask about financial management. How to make a financial management when we build startup if our member team isn't competent in that matter? I think maybe Sofita asking if your team like a tech guy, all of it is a tech guy, then how do you actually like manage that financial? Maybe you want to answer it?
Okay, cool. Ah, simple answer is find the financial guy. Simple answer is to find the financial co-founder uh, to add to your team, right? But if you cannot afford one, or is it going to change the company's culture or the way you guys work? Um, I think the best answer is to learn how to manage financial. There are thousand and thousand and thousand of courses out there for you to learn the basic financial management, the templates for you to manage the financial, right? And if you are going to manage that uh, uh, financial management by yourself, just make sure everything is accountable. Everything, everything that you pay using companies' money, you have to account that. That is why accounting called accounting, right? So you have to be able to account everything. That is the first. Okay, the second one is creating a report. Yeah, financial report is also, there are thousands and thousands of templates out there, software out there. You can use them. You can learn how to use it. Yeah. So basically from that. But when you are hit the milestone and you get funding and also your business is growing, don't forget, hire the financial guy. That is very important. Okay.
Okay, thank you for your question, Sulfita. Okay, right on to the next questions. It's from Juan. As you know, life is not always straightforward, and we will most likely fail, especially our first try. So, how do we can rebound, find a new idea and new spirit?
Okay. I me personally failed a couple of times. So I built startup and uh, uh, we got funding and we crashed. We closed down operation. And then another one built startup. It's going eh, very good. Then suddenly it crashed. So yeah, life is not always straightforward, and we will most likely fail. Okay. Mm. So how how do can we rebound, find new idea and new spirit? It depends. It depends. There are people that is going to say enough, enough. I'm done trying. Right? I'm done trying. I want to work at a big company. But there are people that just don't know how to give up. But yeah, that is why I said that you have to keep on doing what you love. What you love is different, right? Now, if you want to find new idea and new spirit, don't forget, learn from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes before, right? So you did some mistake. That is why you fail, right? And learn from that. Learn from that. Create a plan, a strategy to not doing that again, right? So that is your answer, Juan.
Yeah, very comprehensive answer. Thank you. Uh, I'm sure Juan will uh happily to hear that. Okay, let's go on for the next questions. Okay, from Honey Fun, how to cope with failure.
How to cope with failure? Hmm. For me, I think going around uh, mountains, I think it's my way to cope with failure. Going around with my motorcycle, yeah, it's my way to cope with failure. But I think is for me the key to cope with failure is you have to know that everyone is going to fail at something. So you don't need to put the blame or the failure on your shoulder, only on your shoulder, okay? Just accept it and I don't know, cry out for a day and then you evaluate, you improve, you find out what is it that uh, what is it that make you fail. So yeah, that is my way to cope with failure. I don't know, Hansel.
Yeah, I think it's
How
very
about you?
interesting question because I think coping with failures is uh, actually uh, Futo actually has a lot of ideas before, right? That I already said before, and I think and there is some ideas that I think actually that is going to work. That's from my perspective actually, but it's actually not that great when we implement that, and I think it like spending like I think almost like a month or two to develop it in our like incubation process, and I think that what I did at that time is I actually just okay that this doesn't work, then what next like what can we write in our like because I think when we are trying to make a startup, it is important for us to like have a documentation. Like that's what we are trying to do. Like we are trying to document all our progress, like our maybe, hey, this is our progress and this is our what we have done and why it's not like it is fail. That's what we're trying to do at Futo. And yeah, after you fail, yeah, I think just try another else. I think
Right.
that's what we did. Okay, thank you
Cool.
for your
Cool.
questions, Hanifan. Let's go on to another question. It's from Ahmad Naufal Fadil. How to trigger your sense to see the problems and create a startup? Very good questions.
How to trigger your sense to see the problem and create the startup. Hmm. For me, just look around. Just look around. Just see that what is that has been bothering you for a long time. What is the thing that you personally want to have, right? Oh, just think like this. You sit down and then you realize that if I have this product, my life would be easier. Okay, if you can think that, could think of something, it is already mean that that can be a product, that can be a business. But going back to my first point is you don't you don't have to jump into the first idea that you can think of, right? So yeah, how to trigger? I don't know. There are a lot of ways, but just look around and sit down and think. If I have this product, or there is a startup out there that is offer me something like this, my life would be easier. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you. When when you see a problem that exists that you can feel by yourself, then just go try for it. I think that is a way to find your idea. Okay, next for the next question, we have Farhan. Do startups really matters? As, as there is a lot of giant company out there that dominate startup. I also would like to hear your opinion on this too.
Okay, do startup really matters? As there is a lot of giant company out there that dominate startup. You have to think. You have to. I mean, put in your mindset that giant companies are not startups. Okay, giant companies are not startups. Startups is, yes, startups. You're just starting out. You're just starting out something. You're just creating your first prototype that you believe that is going to be a business, a big business, that is going to be um, what market wants. So does it really matters? It is really matters because every great product, every great platform, uh, they actually started up from startup. That is why it is called startups, starting out.
Yeah, I think I agree with you because if you see that like we are talking about like a tech startups that we have right now, it's also like they are actually starting from a startup too, but right now they are actually have a valuation that yeah, maybe billions of dollars like that. But everything is coming from the startups, and startup is the way is the key. Like maybe it's like a gate to enter to that a giant company. I think that's for my opinion. So thank you, Farhan, for your questions. Let's go on to the next questions. Okay, this is from Laba. As far as I know, at startups, people go in and out quickly, which often takes some time to adapt. How to overcome this so as not to slow down the company's progress?
Okay, Hansel. I heard that you starting out from a couple of people, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then you decrease the number of teams.
I think like in my case, I don't decrease the number of teams.
Oh, but you add more people.
Currently the team is still the same
Oh, still
when
okay.
we, yeah,
Okay, cool, cool.
from my
Okay,
case.
so people go in and out quickly, which often takes some time to adapt. Hmm. Yeah. First thing first is hiring, hiring the suitable team member. Why? Because people not going to go in and out. Yeah. Why? Why there are people that resign from a certain startup? I don't know, because of work culture, because of KPI, because of things like that. So what you have to do is you hire the right team member. You make sure that they working culture, their culture, their personal culture is matched with your company's culture. So you don't have to go around and then you don't have to worry about the uh, employee turnover is so high. So yeah, hiring is key.
I think I want to add for this question. I think this question is actually regarding and very related to how do you manage your team. Like it is very related to team management, because I think if you already have a system that, for example, from a tech background, I actually from a tech background, right? So when you have a system that, oh, the development part is very clear that you have to develop this and then you have to write a unit test, etc., and the deployment is very scheduled and you have a backup plan if the deployment is failed, and everything is already planned and organized. I think that this problem, this kind of problem is will not happen and will not slow down the company. So I think the answer for this question is, I think you need to make, if you because people go out and go in is actually part of creating a startup, I think, because maybe they have another interest in another fields, or maybe they want to pursue that their personal interests, etc. But I think if you want to overcome that, the problem that, so it's not slowing down the company progress, I think it's part of team management. Okay. Thank you, Laba. Let's go on for the next question. It's from Reza Yuda. How to impress people to be our mitra to increase our startup progress? I think mitra is mean partner, right?
Okay, how to how to impress people to be your partner to increase our startup progress. Uh, do you mean partner in terms of co-founding or a business related mitra? I don't know, but I, I'll just answer both. The first one for co-founder mitra. Um, I don't know, but what I find funny is you don't have to impress your co-founder. You only have to share your vision. You only have to share what you are going to build. What is the market size? How big is the size? How big is the market? So you don't have to impress anyone to be your co-founder, because if you have like a same frequency with this guy, so you don't have to impress. You just have to say, hey, I'm going to build this thing, and this thing have a billions and billions of market potential. Do you want to join me? If they have the same frequency and they have the same mindset as you, they just gonna go for it. So yeah, that is the mitra for co-founder team. But if you mean the mitra as in the partnership decision making, you don't. You actually have to create a better portfolio, better product, better services, better SLAs, better market strategy, so they kind of see that, oh, this guy is doing something good. So yeah, I want to be their mitra. But this is my personal experience. You have to be really, really careful in terms of choosing the partnership part, especially vendor, especially uh, market partner. So yeah, you have to be really, really careful because of what? Because of by the end of the time, your cost, your revenue, your margin is going to be shared with them in some ways. Okay, you have to pay for their services also, right? So you have to be really, really, really careful.
Okay, good. Okay, that's a good questions from Yasa. Thank you for your questions. Let's go on for another question. So this one is from Alfian. How to choose a career or build a startup? Where if you choose a career in an industry, most don't focus on the startup as well as the opposite.
Hansel, please, because you choose to build a startup, right? In terms
Yeah,
instead of working at some big company, right?
yeah.
Why?
I think at in this in my case, why I currently creating want to create a startup is because I believe in what I build, and I also like I believe that especially if you said that if you're working at the industry, maybe you're working at some big tech companies, then maybe you can you have already like maybe your career can progress more than you currently working on the startup. But I think from my experience, I already have like some kind of experience with that also. So I have internship too before I create this startup. So for my case, when I decided that I actually really want to focus on this career, which is creating a startup, I actually have that knowledge. I have that how do they do in like in the big company, and how do they actually serving that technology to others. So that's why I can actually getting involved, getting focused, and getting like, oh yeah, I want to create that. But I think uh for everyone, like maybe you're never like you never have a chance like working in career in industry, like, and you want to jump into the startup as well. I think uh I don't know, see, but I think the best way is you have to believe in what you're trying to build. I think that's it. How about you?
Okay. For me personally, if you want to build a good startup, if you want to build uh, your next big thing, I think you have to starting out from career first. I don't know, but th- there are different. Okay, this is different for everyone. Okay, you have to choose career first because of what? Because you have to be expert on that first. Then you can create your startup based on your expertise, right? Because but this doesn't mean that you have to hold on. You have to hold out your idea. That is why I said that if you want to build startup, you have to find a great idea, a good enough idea, and combine with great execution. Because of what? In the execution part, there are lots of expertise that you need. Okay, like technology expertise, like coding expertise, like financial expertise, marketing expertise. But if you know and your gut is telling you that this is going to be big, and that is backed up with the actual data, actual research, actual critical research, I say go for it. Meaning that you crack the code. So yeah, how to choose a career or build a startup? That is, yeah.
So yeah, I think I want to add something first. I think uh actually there's a lot of startup that actually started that they start founded when they actually still working in the industry. Like because I think at the time when people are working in the industry, they have they have an opportunity like, oh, this is what I do in the industry. Like, oh, maybe you can ask and you try to learn with maybe that have been a senior that has working in the industry for a long time. At that, if you're working at the industry, you have that opportunity to try to learn and to try to uh, maybe it's not like copy, but it's like do the good thing for you and try not to do the bad thing in the process of your making a startup. And then if you believe that, oh, this startup is going to work and then this startup is going to like maybe it's going to work fine. I think at that time, if you are like, oh, I cannot handle this anymore between the startup and between the startup and your career at as in industry, I think that is the time for you to leave. I think that's it. Okay, thank you for your questions, Alfian. Let's go on for the next question. Is from Hasbullah. Let's say I have my first idea. When should I give up that first idea and next to the second idea?
Hmm. Okay. The simple answer is when you don't have enough market size. I mean, enough for you is maybe not enough for the other guy. But uh, if you do the complete background research and analytical and also the market research, then wow, turns out this idea doesn't have any market, any potential market. So yeah, give up, give up, or even that in the process that you are working on your idea in the process, then uh, there is no competition, there is no people that back up your idea. I think you have to go back and do complete research again, is this the right thing or no? Again, improve, again, learn from your mistake. Then if it's not going to work, just give up, and move on to the second idea. But in addition to that, if you really believe, never give up. Okay, never give never give.
Sure, that's lovely to hear. Thank you as well for your question. Okay, let's go on to another question. It's from Fajar. How to translate problems into solution that can be our startup core business?
Okay, Hansel, I think you are solving a big problem here, right? At
Yeah,
Puto. So yeah, answer that,
sure.
please.
Yeah, sure. I think when we are trying to create Futo is actually based on a real life problem, right? Because people in the rural areas doesn't have the access to the medical services, and maybe also in the nowadays people are still very hard to contact the medical services. Like if you like for example, why do you have like you have a food on your plate, then you have to like ask the medical services, hey, is this food is edible or not? Of course, it's not practical. It's not edible. It's not practical for everyone. So I think uh, from that problem, we try to solve the problem into a solution by taking those problem into a smaller pieces. Like for example, if we create that problem is maybe I can say it like this. Uh, let's have some like analogy, right? If you are a doctor, no, if you are a patient that needs some medications, what kind of doctor that you need? Of course, it's not the best doctor that you need. It's not the best one that you can get, but the best. But what you need is the one that can help and cure you, right? So it is very important to choose a small step, like a small step of solutions that you can try to puzzle it out and create a combination of the solutions. So for example, in Futo, I think if you create like a healthcare right now, there's a lot of technologies out there. Like you can implement blockchain, for example. That's another thing, right? You can maybe add some backend that maybe can I don't know do other things that happen. But if you have a problem that really exists, just I think from my experience also, just try to solve it into a smaller solution and try to make it bigger from that one. Okay, how about you?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was still mute. Okay. Uh, how to translate problem into solution that can be your startup core? Um, I think the simple answer is using data. Okay, so you can translate the problem into solution by using data. Why? Because when you look at the data, you can see uh, what is the best product that you have that you have to make. Like, is it going to be web application? Is it going to be mobile application? Is it going to be a subscription model? Is it going to be on demand model? I don't know, but you have to look at the data. By looking at the data, you can know that uh, this solution is applies to people that has problem with this demographic, with this firmographic, with this kind of behavior. So yeah, that's how you translate the problem into solution.
Yeah, it's I think that's very interesting because I think what we actually did in Futo is actually we did that actually because I think not every solution. Oh, the big technology, the big things that happens in the world that we need to apply that to solve our solutions. Maybe our solution is just there, and you just need a simple technology, and you just like I can solve it with the simple things. Then uh, that problem uh, can be translated to that kind of solution. I think that yeah, that's what I want to share. Sure. Thanks, Fajar, for your questions. Okay, next is Dimas. Are it's better to gain experience first by working on some startups before build our own startup? If not, is there suggestions we should do to start build a startup?
Well, I think we already talked about this
Yeah,
couple of times, right? So for me, uh, I think you have to find your expertise first in terms of business work. Like, I don't know if your expertise in technology, is your expertise in financial marketing, operation, things like that, and then you start uh, finding out the problem that you can convert into solution, right? And then you build your startup. But then again, if you find a very good idea and you do analytical and critical research about your idea, and then you believe that it's going to work, yeah, just do it. Just go for it.
Yeah, I think it is quite true because from my perspective, it's also I think gaining an experience first is really helpful when you're creating a startup. Uh, and also you guys here are joining Bucket, right? I think Bucket is giving you an experience also to gain the expertise. So yeah, I think it's very profound that Bucket providing it for you guys and also me in the past 2 years. Okay. Okay, thank you, Dimas. Okay, next we have Arif. What are the key criteria that you consider when looking for an idea to build a startup? Criteria for a startup, for an idea.
Okay. What are the key criteria that you consider when looking for an idea to build startup? I don't know, but I think in my presentation, uh, I already point out four criteria that you can assess your idea. The first thing is how big is this idea? How big is the market? And about the founder and market fit. Is the founder is the right teammate? Is the uh, does they do they have the actual expertise to build this? And then the second one is how sure are you that you are solving a big problem? How sure are you? How sure that this means that uh, you have to gather lots of data. How sure are you? Okay. And then the third one is this something personally that you want to have? If it's not, I think, yeah, move on to next idea. And the fourth one the last one is this something that only recently became possible? So let's say building uh, a game in metaverse. I think, I don't know, and things like that. NFT, VR, QR codes, anything. So yeah, if this only recently became possible, then I say, yeah, go for it. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, thank you, Arif, for your questions. Let's continue for questions from Kiki. How about regulations, sir? Should we clear the regulation first or build a startup first? Cause to take regulation until clear, we will spend a lot of money there, but there's no guarantee to our startup to be built right.
Ah, okay. Am I going to teach you something evil? No, no. Yeah, you cannot cheat out the regulation. Okay, you just build something that is compliant to regulation, but that is also big enough market. Uh, but I think if you can identify that, oh, my idea, my startup right now is going to be an issue for this regulation, then you start building out your plan, your strategy. How do I cater this this regulation? How do I comply with this regulation? So if you are building something risky that this is going to be an issue in the market, especially with regulation, I think you have to comply first. You have to comply first.
All right, cool. Okay, thank you for your question, Kiki. Let's go on for the next question. Is from Denny. Hello, Kak Imanuel. I'm Denny from CC10. I think it's the cloud computing 10. Uh, I just want to ask, is it possible to build a resilient startup during difficult economic times?
Well, it's obviously and uh, proven, uh, you can build resilient startup during difficult economic ideas. Just look at Google. Google was built before the economic difficulty, right? And yeah, and now they resist the economic resilience because when the economic crisis is hit the U.S. Actually, Google became uh, the first technology company that people are investing in. So yeah, I think you can. It is very 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 possible.
All right, cool. So it's very possible for you, Danny. Okay, and for everyone else too, not just Danny. Okay. Okay, so let's continue for the next question. It's from Alexa. To create a startup, do we have to have a computer science education background? Oh, this one is very cool.
Okay, I think answer the first answer.
Oh, I think for this one is I think it's not because I think it's depend on what you're trying to build, right? If you want to create like maybe like F&B startup, like food and beverage startup, then for the tech part, you might just want to hire someone else to like to uh to help you to create your business to become better. Because I think why do you have to like you have to organize everything because when your main goal, your main achievement, that your main startup is for F&B. But I think if you are trying to make a tech company, like like maybe you want to to create a tech company that maybe solve a problem, I think the answer is yes and no. I think yes is because not a computer science background, but you actually have to have like maybe some sort of knowledge, like maybe you have to know like because when you're creating a business that gonna work, is you have to involve to the process every day, right? And your process is about tech. So as a founder, you then need to like have some sort of knowledge that what is happening in your company. So in a tech background, yeah, then you have to have some background in maybe not a background, but you have like knowledge, just a knowledge, yeah, in the computer science. But if you actually like, oh, I'm a business guy, not a tech guy, then I think it is very important also if you believe that you want to take a side that technical, then I think I suggest that maybe you just find a right CTO, then like you would just find a right guy to do the tech for you. How about it, Kak Emmanuel?
Yep, yep. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, Jed. So do we have to have a computer science education background? I am gonna say this firmly. No, it depends. Okay, it depends on what you are building. Okay, if you are building a psychology startup, so you actually doesn't need a computer science background. What you need is psychological educational background, right? If you are going to build a music startup in music industry, what you have to have is music educational background. It's not computer science, right? But is it essential to have someone that take care of the computer science thing, like technological part? I think in this era, yes, yes. But do you actually need? No, no. You can just starting out from creating a small website. I think a very minimum website, right? You can create your business first, then think about the technology later. If your idea is not completely standing in the technology part. So yeah.
I think yeah, I also agree with that. Yeah, thank you for your question, Alexa. Uh, That's I think due to time limitation, I think there's maybe a couple of questions that we can answer in the sessions. So let's go on. This is from Anthony. How much business knowledge do we need to make a lasting startup company?
How much business knowledge do we need to make a lasting startup company? Huh, how much? I think the essential thing, like when you sell something, when you provide something, you have to uh, gain something, right? So that is already common business sense, right? But for me, the business knowledge is also evolving every year, every single time. Business is evolving. So how much business knowledge that you need? I think if you already know how to take care of operational, have you already know how to sell, how to promote, how to create your first prototype. Yeah, I think that is already enough for you to start it out.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Anthony, for your questions. Okay, let's dive into another question. So this is from Angel. Okay, Bangkit Academy, you guys are amazing. What is your biggest motivation to be consistent? Can you start? Can you share with us so that it can motivate us to stay consistent to start and develop startup?
Okay, what is my biggest motivation to be consistent? Okay, creating a startup. Uh, if you really try your best and doing the best that you got, okay, giving the best that you got, I think uh, the motivation is there. Is always going to be there. Okay, because startup is like your baby. Startup is like your child. Uh, you watch them from nothing into something. I don't know. Is it going to fail? Is it going to work? But the motivation is there. For me, the motivation is when I get my milestone customer. So let's say when I get my first customer, that is going to be my motivation until until I get another milestone, like 100 customers, 1,000 customers, 10,000 customers. Okay, but is what is going to keep me motivate is, oh, this startup is mine. This is my idea. This is that something uh, I want to work and build with my blood, my tears, my money, my energy, my time. So yeah, that is what keep me going.
Yeah, I think I want to add something because I think it is true that that actually my motivation into continuing and making this startup is actually at the time I still remember when at the time after uh we have finished the capstone project, there were presentation, and then there were top 50 presentations, and then there were like a session where they announced that there you guys are the top 15 project. And I think uh what motivated me is at that time when it announced that the top 15 project, it's very for me at the time it's very charming, it's very great that I can see how the idea like it I also agree with you, it's like our baby, like it's I make it from maybe because I'm from a tech company. Yeah, it's I code it from the scratch and try to test it and then present it to Bankit, and then and try to like develop it in the incubation era and the incubation time. I think that's looking back at the time when I get that funding from Bangkit and Kadeteka is my motivation until this time. I think yeah, that's it for me. Okay, I think that's our last question that we are going to answer for today. I think due
Yeah.
to time limitation, unfortunately, we cannot answer all of your questions.
Yep.
So I think I would like to say thank you for Kak Imanuel Abraham to join us in the session. And I would like to say thank you for all of you guys that watching in the sessions. Hopefully, the sessions will be fruitful for everyone who watched it. So uh, maybe Kak Emmanuel, do you have any closing statements?
Well, closing stage. Okay. I would say that thank you for Bangkit and also thank you for Hansel for this great session, and thank you for the 800 viewers and also uh, bunch of questions, right? My closing statement is the same. Keep on doing what you love, okay? And uh, make mistakes, learn from it and improve. Believe me, the results are inevitable. You cannot fail if you keep on doing that. Okay, so when you already failing couple of times, if you improve from there, you're not gonna fail on the same spot again. So yeah.
That's very cool. Okay, with that done, thank you everyone, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And bye.
Bye.
Bye.